In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some pretty good to great units that you can use to auto farm. Especially the point event, because the point event is one of those things that is just kind of, it's easy enough to auto, but not like you don't want to be doing it manually. So if we take a look, the character that I showed on the screen at first, this 1000-year blood war Aizen, is really good at auto farming. He has really good survivability. He has a normal attack damage of 20%. So that's going to be increasing your normal attack string by 20%. So this right here, that's going to be increased by 20%. He also has a gauge effect, which is a bruiser plus 100%. Just think of 100% more NAD damage or normal attack damage. Then you have decreased damage taken by 50%. That means you're going to be taking 50% less damage. He has a fire resistance innate skill, so it means he's immune to fire. He has read all affiliation dodges, which means no enemy can dodge him. But the most important one on this skill that makes him really good, honestly, is this right here. This not only boosts his damage, but it gives him a barrier. Normally, the barrier is 3 for the character that casts it and 1 for everyone else. But if we scroll down, further down here, multi-barrier plus 2. That means he will have a barrier that he's able to take 5 hits with before the barrier goes away. And any allies you have will have a barrier of 3. So that means they'll be able to take 3 hits. This makes this character really good at farming, like just auto farming in general. And I'll even show you a run of what you can expect when you utilize something like this. He also has guard break plus hit hidden enemies, so the enemies that are underground are not going to be able to avoid him, and it's built into his kit. He also has status ailment attack boost of 80%. That means that when he inflicts an enemy with a status ailment of any kind, he's doing well, he only has one kind right here. It's weakened. He's going to be doing 80% more. Well, it'd be better off to say this right here, this attack gets boosted by 80%. So if you have 1,000 attack, let's just say, you're getting a boost of 800 attack for however long it is. I think it's like 10 seconds, give or take. So yeah, he's really good. He has poise. That means if he gets hit, he ain't going to just stand around there and let them keep stun locking him. The only way you're able to stun lock this character is if he gets hit with something like freeze or paralysis, which should not happen because of his attack style. This is one of the type of units you should keep an eye out for. As you can see, it goes off in the distance. So this is one great character at auto farming. And you might think, okay, so that's your go-to. You want multi-barrier with the barrier skill. So, he can put a shield around. You want NAD attack damage. Yes and no. This guy is very survivable. That means the likelihood of him getting KO'd is slim to none, depending on what type of content you're farming. Obviously, if you're farming some really hard content like Senkaimon, like I don't really recommend autoing that. I mean, maybe the earlier floors, but some of the later floors where you're more inclined to use a character like this that's very strong, you're probably not going to want to be autoing that. But, things like point event, droplets, which, to be honest, droplets, you're probably going to want a droplet character and not this Aizen. So it's really going to depend on what you're farming, but he's a really good auto farming unit. This character right here is another really good auto farming character. Problem with this character is, depending on what you're farming, he can actually get stun locked and killed fairly quickly. Like if you look, he has to, like if he's attacking, he has to be next to them. Now granted, he's an SP character, so he should only be using his strong attacks. Problem is, sometimes he uses all of his strong attacks in a very short period of time, not allowing for them to be able to recharge quick enough, so he goes up there and just starts swinging at them. And depending on what enemies he's facing, he can sometimes get KO'd. Obviously, the more stamina you have built on him, like, for example, my character is 3 out of 5, which is this right here. And he has attack, focus, and stamina. So he has like 4,400 stamina currently. So that means he has a little bit of cushion. But if you just have this character 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5 and you don't have the extra stamina, and depending on what you have equipped to the character's, link to him, you could face a problem where he just gets KO'd too quickly. There's no room. Like, he takes a few hits and he's down, depending on what you're farming. So this character, he can be really good and really quick. Like his runs sometimes range from like 30 seconds to like a minute, whereas the Aizen would take probably a minute to a minute and a half, depending on what you're using. Sometimes 2 minutes if you don't have any kind of speed accessories, and depending on what content you're farming. So those two characters are really good at farming. Also, I should point out, another thing that makes this character really good is the shared complete status immunity. This means he's immune to all status ailments and can share the status immunity to other players, like if you're playing in co-op, or if you're playing, if you're by yourself, and you have like 2 little extra teammates that are not, they're kind of like your benched characters. Those will get the immunity for a little bit when he gets hit by it. So if you get hit by the thing and switch off to another character, you can do that. But if you're auto farming, it's probably not going to really apply. It can apply to where if this character gets KO'd, frozen, or not frozen, but like gets hit with the status ailment and just dies from getting hit, the enemy or the character that follows after as your second in command, or he should be immune to whatever status ailment attack they used for a little bit at the very least, if he is not another shared complete status immunity character or a complete status immune character, or has an something that actually, because it doesn't have to be a complete status immunity. It could just be, they're immune to weaken, for example, or they're immune to being frozen, built in there as well. So do keep that in mind. Those are what I usually look forward to. Another character that's pretty decent at autoing is this Ichigo. This Ewok is actually pretty good at autoing. He has a status ability that can paralyze and drain. Drain heals. He also has a weaken resistance. That means he's going to be immune to weaken. So that means he ain't going to be doing 1 damage, if he gets hit with weaken. He's immune to it. That's really, really good. He has poise. That means if he keeps getting hit, it doesn't matter too much because he can still fight back and usually beat the enemy before the enemy beats him. And he also has something called half stamina only, decreased damage taken by 50%. So that means if he ever gets to 50% health, this guy right here is going to be taking 50% less damage. That's really good. Especially if you have this guy like at a lot, like an insane stamina, for example, let's just say you had him at 4 to 5k stamina. That means when he's down to about 2,000, 2,500 stamina, which is still a lot of stamina, by the way, for depending on what type of content you're farming, he's going to be taking 50% less damage. And then he uses his drain attacks, and he procs one of those. Guess what? He's going to heal that back up. He's going to go back into the, above the 50% stamina. And then, then it drops back below that again, then he's taking 50% less. So overall, this is like a really good character. He is a melee character. So, that means he's going to be quicker. But since he has a way to recover his health and he has poise, it's not as big of a problem unless he comes across characters that paralyze him, freeze him, what would be another one that would be pretty bad? Weaken is the other bad one, I guess. Lacerate would be a pretty bad one, but you're not usually facing Lacerate too often unless you're fighting a boss or doing something like Senkaimon. So these 3 characters are really good. This Ichigo is pretty good. This 1,000 Year Blood War Ichigo is also pretty good. I would say these 2 characters are probably pretty good. I haven't used them myself personally, but based on the skills they have, I would say these 2 characters are probably pretty good. This character, autoing, not really good. At least as long as there's enemies with status immunity out there. I've tried farming the point event with him just to see if he was any good. And the point event at the stage that I used had status elements, and he would just get destroyed, honestly. So he's not really that good. So these 2, the reason why I say these 2 could be pretty good, he has a barrier. See that? Does he have multi-barrier? Yep, he has multi-barrier. He also has a ranged NAD. So I could see him being pretty good at, you know, basically autoing. Does he have team heal? No, he does not have team heal. The reason why I was curious about that because he has full stamina, only increased normal attack damage of 40%. And he has no way to heal that back up if he gets hit. So not super great, but he's still probably pretty good. Like at least compared to like Thousand Year Blood Horizon, I don't think he's gonna be on that level. For because that's the character I'm comparing because they have similar, you know, movesets. Now this character right here is like a mini Thousand Year Blood War Yamamoto. Basically that character that I showed you, the old man with the one arm. I'm sure you probably know who Yamamoto is if you watched Bleach, but if you have not watched Bleach and you just got into the game because it looked cool, basically it's that old man I showed you back before with the shared complete status immunity. He's like a mini version of him, but he does not have the shared complete status immunity. He only has complete status immunity, so it only affects him. And he hits, because he hits pretty hard. I mean, he has status, element, spiritual pressure boost, but he does not hit as hard as the Thousand Year Blood War Yamamoto. There's just so much stuff going on. That character can do pretty much any content in the game. I'm not sure what level, like how strong he is compared to Yamamoto, although he's still pretty strong. So do keep that in mind. This character could probably be pretty good at autoing if you build him correctly. You're probably going to want a lot of stamina. Wait, I want to make sure. Does he have a melee or is his ranged? It looks like it's ranged, because that goes pretty far. If that is ranged, then that he could be pretty good at autoing, potentially. What other characters would be pretty good down here? I would say the 6th anniversary characters would probably be pretty good. This girl right here, she's pretty good. The reason why this character is pretty good is because she has, well, first off, she has strong attack recharge minus 12%. That means the amount of time it takes for you to use your strong attacks is reduced by 12%. So let's just say it takes 100 seconds. It does not take anywhere near that long, by the way. You're losing 12 seconds with just this. Obviously, the strong attacks are a lot lower. Like, they don't take that long to recharge them. But to give you an idea. Now you have full stamina only. So that means when she's at full health, she has an additional reduced strong attack cooldown by 6%. So that's 18%. You can link 3 characters that have 14% recharge on this character. That'll be what? 28, 42? 42 plus 18. So that's like 60% cooldown. So that means it's taking 60% less time to recharge these 3 skills. Meaning these 2 skills are going to be triggering so quickly that you're like within like 2 or 3 seconds, this is able to be reused again. And then you go boom, 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 boom. And she has weaken and heal on them. So that means if she weakens them, that means they're not going to do as much damage to you. If she drains them, that means she's going to recover health. So if she, let's just say she gets hit, well, guess what? She can recover. Oh, she gets hit a lot? Well, she has this heal right here. So it's like you don't need drain. You actually got heal as well that she could potentially end up using. She has medics. That means her heals are going to do better. I believe that's how it works. Full stamina damage boost, 20%. So that means if she's at full stamina, she's going to be doing 20% more damage. So she's a really, really good character. Her debilitator means her status elements will last like 5 seconds longer. I'm not sure if debilitator only applies to weaken or not. I think Caleb, honestly, to be honest, since you know you don't really have to look this up for people in game, you should be able to like click on them to get more information on what exactly these skills do. I think that's like a quality of life feature that Caleb should probably implement for some of these. So, you know, you rely less on us, and it helps the players more. The people who don't look this up, because like you look at medic, it's like, oh, I think that means I heal more with this. Yeah, probably, but you don't necessarily know for sure. Especially if you're a new player. Now, The other two characters that I would mention that I know that are pretty good are these two. This is 6th anniversary Aizen. He's really good. Even to this day. I mean, this is already 7th anniversary. We're about a month away from halfway to the 8th anniversary. So take that into account. This character is like a year and a half old at this point, and he's still really good. He has paralyzed resistance. He's gonna dodge Soul Reapers 50% of the time, or their damage 50%. He has weaken and drain, so that means if he gets hit, he can recover his health back. He has full stamina and damage boost. So that means if he's at full health, he's gonna be 20% more damage. His debilitator plus 5 seconds. He also has hidden enemies, so those little underground enemies that can be a pain sometimes to hit if you don't have the accessory or way to hit them. Really good. So, and then you have Art Book Ichigo. This character right here. If you want to see what his profile looks like when you pull him, because there's another character that looks like him. That's called the 2nd anniversary Ichigo, I believe. This character right here has a sword when you summon. Pay attention to the sword, like this. If it's held like this, this is Art Book Ichigo, and this is the more recent one. If you get another character that looks like this, he's not the Art Book Ichigo. Another way you can tell this is the Art Book Ichigo is this. If it's green or has this symbol, that's tech. That means it's that one right there, the one you want. He has strong attack recharge time of minus 14%. He has complete status immunity. So that means he's immune to all status ailments. He has long stride and sprinter, so this is really good for being able to dodge and move around. And he has poise. So he's going to be pretty good. If he gets hit, he should be fine. Especially since he has complete status immunity. The only downside is, depending on how the enemies spawn on the map, he could get trapped. And even though he has poise, could still get hit just too quickly to be able to defeat all the enemies. So do keep that in mind. The lower you go down, there are still some good characters. Like if you go down further and further, the characters get more outdated. There are still some characters that are good. Maybe not the best, but are still pretty good. Like for example, Tokinada. Let's see if I can find him real quick. Tokinada. There we go, right here. This character, for example, if you ever pull him as a filler in one of the future banners, he's pretty good, but he's not as good as some of the more modern day ones, mainly because he's missing some key skills. Like for example, he does not have the multi-barrier on this. He doesn't have barrier, he doesn't have multi-barrier, so that means he's able to get hit. He has paralyzed resistance, that's okay. Guard break is, pretty much mandatory nowadays, so it's nothing super unique, but he's still good. He's not going to be doing anywhere as good as this Aizen. Honestly, this Aizen is probably my favorite character to auto with. And in fact, if you're summoning for this character, you can summon for this character if you watch about within 10 days of me uploading this video, because that is when he should still be out. I believe 21st of December 2022 is when the banner will go away for until the next rerun, which is probably going to be like 3-4 months from now. Now let's do the run that I was going to tell you that I was going to do. So we're going to pick, we're not going to want to do red because that means he has a disadvantage. So we're probably going to go with tech. Honestly, would probably be the better one. Maybe the heart one, which is the top one. Not the top one, but the one that's not an Ultra Quest. It would be Ultra Quest, or not Ultra Quest, Extra Quest 6, I believe, on this one. But anywho, let us do it. Another tip, by the way, that you can do if you're autoing and you maybe just a little shy of being able to get through it safely with whatever character you're using to auto. Another set of characters that you can have, maybe you can have up to 2 more of these characters that have team, party, stamina, recovery. If you have that as an innate skill or a skill, that means every time they transition between screens, if you have this as an extra character in the back, you can heal 20% more, 20% of your stamina. So I'll show you what that means. So he's a side character. If I had him and another character here, for example, he'd be healing 20% from him, 20% from him if he gets hit. But he shouldn't be getting hit because of the fact that he has multi-barrier. But one thing multi-barrier does not do, it does not make you immune to status ailments. That means even though he might have the barrier up, if he gets hit and the attack is a status ailment attack, I believe it still inflicts, or it can inflict the status ailment against you. But look, this is why I like this character so much. He's a really great autoer. Even at 1 out of 5, the base, like this character is 3 out of 5, I believe. Or 2 out of 5. No, 2 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is Yamamoto. This character, even at 1 out of 5, is going to be really good. He's honestly one of the best characters in the game for autoing, at the expense of, taking longer than some of the other ones, like Yamamoto, for example. But he's safe. And look, you see up in the upper left corner where it says +622, if you go back right when I transition screens, that's because of this team heal. Like, wait until we transition screens and look at the upper left, right where my character's health bar is, which is 3100. I'm not sure if it's going to show that. Okay, there, it's +622. See, that was, let's see. So here he got hit with an attack, but we had already finished him off. That would have inflicted the status ailment on him because it already showed you. If you rewind a little bit, you'll see like this purpley, like toxic type effect around Aizen. That was him getting inflicted with the status ailment. But yes, that is typically what you can expect. Look, he finished it honestly faster than some of the other point events that I farmed on him. 1 minute 4 seconds, that's pretty good. Usually it would take me like 1:20, 1:30 in some other instances. But it's going to depend on the stage, what enemies there are, and the layout of the stage. Some stages just take longer because, they're more, backtracking, or, they're just long, like it's like a little maze kind of thing instead of just straightforward. So those ones will take longer. So I hope that pretty much helps you guys out. I'm going to go to the album real quick to show you something and give you a bit of general advice. If you click on that cogwheel and you go to album, you can check, what characters you have and don't have, and look at, like what type of skills you have to see if, they're worth actually summoning for. Or you can watch like other people's videos. Like in general, usually if there's a new banner coming out, people will talk about how good the characters are. Anytime a new banner gets announced, and heck, even when certain banners come back. Like for example, the current banner out, a rerun banner that's out, is this character, Yuwak, Yamamoto, and Aizen. This character is probably the best banner you can summon for this entire year. Like, I don't think there's any banner out there that was better than this banner, just because these 3 characters were that good. Usually when you get a good banner, it's like 2 good characters and then 1 kind of meh character. But all 3 of these characters were pretty freaking good. And all 3 of them actually can be utilized to auto farm pretty quickly. In fact, I'll show you the banner, what it looks like before I end the video. Another tip, the higher you are on this list, like if you go to sort, and if you go over here and it says rarity and descending, click on that. The characters that are at the top tend to be better overall than the characters that you are further down. It's obviously not always the case, because like that 6th anniversary Aizen that I showed you, where is he? Where are you, Aizen? Did I pass you? No, I didn't. This Aizen right here is better than some of the premium characters. Like for example, these 3 characters right here are not better than that 6th anniversary Aizen. But generally speaking, the higher you up on the list, the chances, the higher the chance, the more use you're going to get out of that character. So, that's a pretty good tip. Now, if you go to shop, summons, characters, and if you scroll down to here, it says Essence summons the Blood Warfare. This banner right here is the banner I'm talking about. And if we look at the little eye, the little circle with the eye there, and we scroll down, you can see what characters are featured in the banner. These 3 characters are really good, and the other 6 characters are outdated. But even with these 3 characters being, or 6 characters being outdated, these 3 characters make up for it. Like, seriously, these 3 characters are that good. If you pull 1 out of 5 him, 1 out of 5 him, and 1 out of 5 him, you did good. If you pull, heck, if you get really lucky, because there are some people out there that got this lucky, and they pull 3 or 4 of these Yamamotos in a single multi, like, seriously, congratulations, you got one of, if not the best character in the game. If you pull him 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, you're still pretty good. If you pull him 3 or 4 out of 5, you got a really good Brave Battle character and a really good auto unit. All 3 of these characters are really good at auto unit. These 3, not this girl. This girl, these 3, right here, and these 3. They're like for your collection, or if they're your favorite character. They're not that good. And I think I cover pretty much everything that I wanted to in this video. So if you guys have any questions, and as time goes on, if you're curious about a specific character, put them in the comment section below, because, you know, you get, what, 2 new banners a month usually, bring in an additional 5 to 6 characters every month. If you see this banner, you know, 6 months from now, 7 months from now, around 7th or 8th anniversary, you're going to be looking at, let's just say 7 months. 7 times 5, let's just say. That's how many? 35 new characters, I believe. Yeah, so keep that in mind. If it's probably going to be more than that, because the average is probably above 5. It's probably like 5.5 or 5.6 or some crap like that. Because it's not too often they only do a 2-character banner anymore. So usually it's 3 characters. So keep that in mind. And I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys next time. And peace.